Hi guys, and welcome to this screencast on utilizing iMovie in education. Today we are going to be working on the iMovie on your computers. iMovie is a powerful tool available for free on all Apple devices, but the computer is the most commonly used one. We are going to be going over iMovie 13, so if you're on an older iMovie, some of the features may be in different places or look differently, but all of the concepts should be the same. In education, iMovie can be used to give students a way to introduce new materials to the class, express their grasp of a concept, utilize and build visual skills, review and reflect on class experiences, practice their language skills, and more. It's kind of up to you to find some great creative ways to use it. So in iMovie, the first step that you're going to do is you're going to import all of the raw material that you'll be using for your videos. And you will find your import button up here in the upper left part of your screen. It's going to take you to a window that looks like this. The two primary ways in which you'll bring in your materials, one would be to plug in the device that actually took the recording. So in this case, I have my phone that I'm using that I took the recording on. The other way would be to use an external drive. So for this example, I'm using a flash drive, or what some people call a thumb drive. You can click on it, see all of the materials on it. With flash drives, you can run into issues with formatting, especially if the student used a Windows computer to take their video and put it on the external drive to bring it into the class. Formatting can cause issues for the actual thumb drive itself or for the movies. The best way to avoid this is to actually have the students bring in whatever device they recorded with. If that's not possible, then you should send them home with a list of acceptable formats and maybe a guideline for parents on how to make sure that it's done properly so that it can be read by the Apple computer. For me, I'm going to bring it in from my phone. I've taken a couple different videos just to show you some examples. I'm going to grab this one right here. Now, there is a really big step that you have to make sure you do at this screen, and that is you must tell the computer where to import this video. If you don't do that, all of your stuff is going to end up in one giant file, and it's going to make it very hard to find what you need. So it's best to go in and make a new event for any raw materials you're bringing in, and everything you bring in for that project that you're making should go into the same event. So in this case, I'm just going to title mine iMovie project. And then down on our bottom right corner, we can choose to import selected. So that's what I'm going to do because I've just selected one, or you can import all. A big thing to worry about is this pie right there. That will tell you whether or not you can start using your material. Mine went really fast because I only brought in about a 20-second clip, but when you're bringing in a couple minutes or even a couple hours, your thumbnails, which is this section down here, will appear immediately for use, but they aren't actually finished importing until that pie is filled, and you see this message up here in the upper right corner letting you know that your import is complete. That's probably the biggest issue that I see people running into is they see all of their information down here on the bottom. They think it's done, they unplug their device, and then everything turns blue because it's not actually been saved to the computer. This can be especially hard when you're working with younger children that get really impatient and want to unplug everything. Now that we've brought in our material, it's time to actually start creating our project. Back up where we found our import button is going to be a button that says new. It gives us the option to make either a movie or a trailer. Now trailers are going to require you to use a template. They are much shorter and a lot more disconnected, so I recommend having your students work with movies. The movie will also give us an option to pick themes. These are like templates in that it will provide specific transitions, title screens, and in some cases, music. Today I'm going to show you how to work with no theme at all, just because that requires a little bit more technique than dragging and dropping into the themes would. This way you'll walk away with some more skills. So I'm going to click no theme, and I'm going to give my project a name. also going to ask me what event I want to pull all of my source material from. So just like before, how we put all of our stuff into an event titled iMovie Project, it's really important that that's the one that we select so that we can find all of the information we want to work with. So my screen's now going to change. It's going to show me all of my raw data up here in the upper left corner of my screen. It'll give me previews of things that I might consider bringing in, or a preview of my movie as it currently looks in the upper right corner. And the bottom strip is my actual project, and it breaks it down into where to add your visual elements versus where to add your audio elements. So I'm going to take my one and only clip and bring it in. I have a couple options. I can either drag and select part of the clip and bring that down in, or I can double click so the entire thing's highlighted in yellow and bring it all down. That's what I'm going to do just so that we have the most material to work with. So now you'll notice I have my source material up in the top where it came from and down below in my project. I also have an orange line underneath my source material showing me which part of it I have brought into my project in case if when I'm going back over it I choose to add more or less. We're going to go over some basic editing at this point. All of your editing tools are going to be found in the upper right hand corner above your preview screen. And I'm actually going to let you guys kind of explore those on your own. So after you've explored those editing options with your students, most of which are self-explanatory based on the image that it shows you as your option, one big thing that you're probably going to need to do with your students is take their long clips and split them into shorter clips so that they can add their transitions and special effects. The way to do that is down in your project area, you're going to position your playhead, which is this long white bar with the arrow on top, right where you want to split your clip. Then you're going to go up to your menu bar, and under Modify, one of our options is to split the clip. Now, if I were to play my video all the way through, you wouldn't actually see that split. It would play seamlessly, but it's good if we need to do any small editing, if we need to add transitions. I can also split my clip again, take this middle bit and delete it entirely from my project if that's somewhere where I made a mistake or something extraneous that I just don't need anymore. And anything that you do in your project or any editing that you do is not permanent. At any point in time you can go up to Edit and undo your last action, and it should let you undo as many actions as you have taken for your entire time within iMovie. So feel free to show that to your students. They really cannot mess anything up. So I'm going to split my clip again, and I'm going to add a transition. Your transitions are found on your sidebar in the bottom left corner, along with all other types of content that you can insert into your movie. There are quite a few transitions to choose from. So I'm going to take one of these clips, drag it down in between the two pieces of video that I'd like to use it in, and now when I play my clip in the upper right hand corner, you'll see that my two videos are going to mosaic into each other. It's important to note with transitions that they do take their time, in this case the 1 second, from either side of them. So you have to make sure that you have enough clip on either side of them. This usually isn't a problem with video clips. We run into it more with pictures. So make sure that you are leaving your pictures on the screen long enough if you have a transition immediately after or before. Other options of things you can add include titles. Now this could be everything from an actual title screen to lower corner descriptions, scrolling credits, subtitles. But you do need to be aware because your titles are static, meaning you cannot change the speed, look or feel of the title. You can obviously change the text and where you put it in the movie, but you can't change the basics of it. A good example of this is the Far, Far Away title. This title does run very quickly and it is meant to be used with a large amount of text. If you use a small amount of text, it will run across your screen probably in about 2 seconds, and then you'll be sitting there staring at a black screen for the rest of the time of the title. It is not a very attractive look. A lot of kids like to use it because it makes them think of Star Wars. A better option would be to grab the scrolling credits and to change the color of the text to yellow to get that same type of effect, but at a slower, more sedate speed. You can also add maps and background colors in case if they want to have text on just a straight background. You do have access to your iTunes on the computer. You should be wary of letting your students use this portion, however, because almost all of the content that they will be seeing is under copyright, and we do not want our students accessing or misusing any copyrighted materials, especially if you're going to be publishing any of their projects. Sound effects can be very, very fun. There are thousands of sound effects that come with iMovie for free. They are not under copyright. A lot of times, however, they might not be titled exactly what you're looking for. You do need to go through and kind of try them out, see what they're like. As you mouse over each of them, you do get a play button that will let you hear the sound effect. Just like with our transitions, all you would do is pick it up and drag it to the portion of your clip where you would like to hear that sound effect. GarageBand is a music editing software that you do have access to on Apple's for free as well. I'm not going to go into it in this video, but if you do want to have your students create their own soundtracks, GarageBand is where you would do it. Then you can access it and pull it into iMovie right then and there. Once you're done with your project, you've brought in all of the components that you like, trimmed out any bits that you do not like, you would want to finalize it. The easiest way is to use the share button in the upper right hand corner of your screen. It gives you multiple options of accounts that you can send it to. So for example, if you have a class YouTube account or a personal YouTube account, you can select that option and it'll ask you to log in and it'll post directly to there. The other option, and probably the best option, is to just share it as a file. You can save it to anywhere on the computer or an external hard drive, and then that file can be shared in any way that any other files might be. So email, Dropbox, an external hard drive, anything of that kind. It should just go like any other file. It will take time depending on the size that you choose. It'll ask you for a description, any tags, format, and then the quality that you would like to use. High is perfectly fine. If you do best, that will take quite a while depending on how long your project is. One box that I like to uncheck is Add to Theater. This is your iCloud Theater. Now, some school computers are not logged into iClouds. Either way, you really don't want to be saving your projects into your iCloud Theater. It does take up space and it can end up costing you money. Once you've selected all of your options, it will ask you what you would like to name it as and where you would like to save it. Once that's done, you do get another pie up in the corner, just like we did when we were importing. This one's just going to take a little bit longer because it is finalizing and compressing your whole video. After that, what you do with it is up to you, and hopefully this video has given you some great ideas of ways to utilize iMovie in your classroom and ways to avoid some of the pitfalls that I've seen in my own work with iMovie in students K through 12. Thanks for watching.